The Canadian Card Collector here, and welcome back to day 589 of your daily deck review. And the deck that we're taking a look at today is the Regenesis playing cards. So, with no further ado, let's take a look and see what we'll get. As you can see, it's in that standard glossy finish tuck box there. And then at the top here, it says Regenesis. And then for the front of the design here, we got this multi-tone design here. So it's made out of 4 Pantone colors, sharp indigo for the base here. I guess for the base of the design. Then we've got a seafoam green there for the stream right here. Then we've got a vivid coral emphasis here, right here. And then we got a pastel pink with a little punctuation dot there. And then on one side it says Regenesis, other side says Zalem. And on the bottom here you got information. They're produced and designed by Zalem. They're manufactured by the United States Playing Card Company, Atlanta, Kentucky, made in the USA. And there's only 740 pieces or something like that. Then you got the Zalem little logo there. The Zalem glyph logo there. And there's no seal for the cards. And then on the top, you got that same little design there that says Zalem there. That design wraps around to the tuck flap. The inner tuck flaps is that gloss white. Now we'll take the cards out of the box. Oh yeah, on the back here, you got a little sneak peek of the back design, which I didn't mention. But then on the inside of the tuck box, we got that matte white finish. Nothing too crazy there. Now that we took a look at that tuck box, time to look at the cards. And as always, we'll start with the back design. So here we have a one-way back design, which we slightly took a look at. There. We'll just set all the different colors. We got the indigo for the main part. There. Then we got that kind of seafoam design here for the little stripe there. And then we got the little emphasis, which is that coral color. And then we got the pastel pink for the little dot there. And it has the standard white border. And it is one way back, so if we were to flip it over, the design would be upside down. But now for the cards here. Here we start with the first little joker here. It says Lost on My Way, kind of glitched out there. You got that little red design there. And then it says Zalem there. Then you got a second little joker here, slightly different there. It almost looks kind of like some water there. You got like the sun kind of, like the sky in the background, and a little boat. There you got a little stair little design there. It says Summer Breeze with the Zalem logo. Then we got that custom Ace of Spades there. It has a little bit of like a reference to the back design, kind of like the same kind of style as the back design within that spade. So a fully custom spade there, pretty nice. Then you got the custom colorway for the suits there in the corner. There, which is that kind of it was the seafoam green color there for the spades here. And then you got that kind of Zalem kind of little design over half of the cards here. But the spades are pretty standard. They're like nothing like too crazy going on there. And then all the cards have that kind of like Zalem kind of like indigo kind of color, little pattern over top, kind of like almost like a caution kind of thing over top there. But like I said, the cards are just pretty much standard except for that custom colorway there. And then we got, you'll find the Zif glyph logo, the letters ZE printed in the center there, in the center of the core cards. There, the core cards are just standard core cards there. Kind of like a watermark kind of style there. There, but it's kind of like just like, oh. No, I guess this is kind of like the watermark, but then we got that white ZE kind of like hieroglyph kind of style, kind of design, the glyph there in the side. Then we got the fully custom core card colorway there. There's that kind of like the different colors of the back design colors, which I mentioned earlier, are pretty much the colors of those core cards there. And we got the custom Ace of Diamonds there. Once again, that same kind of like reference to the back design style. And we got the same standard diamonds, just with that kind of like little watermark kind of Zalem logo over top. And then the same kind of style core cards for the diamonds here, with that custom colorway and that glyph over top in the white. And that same kind of style for the clubs here. Once again, the custom colorway and that design. And we got the slightly custom club design there. There was that same kind of little watermark little logo over top. And then we got that custom Ace of Clubs here. It was the reference to the back design once again. And then last we got the hearts, Jack, Queen, King of Hearts, Once again, that fully custom colorway there. And then that little glyph design there in the middle. And then we got the pretty standard hearts, but still custom at the same time there. With that same design, just like all the other suits there. And then we got that custom Ace of Hearts. And then lastly here, we got the two little extra cards. We got a little kind of a slightly ad card-ish kind of card here. There's a lot going on there. But it does say approved. This is Zalem. And it says, we don't shuffle for the game. The game is the shuffle. And then we got another little card that says, ain't nobody got time for ads. Just the back signs on the back of those. But now that we take a look at the cards. Foot handling, they are made in the United States. So they have some sort of air cushion finish quality to it. So they will handle fantastic. And I gotta say, these are definitely more on the thinner side. So straight out of the box, they feel definitely broken in. There's definitely a lot of flex to them. Almost a little too much, but still pretty nice though. Really spring fantastic there. So if you're a fan of thinner decks, then this is definitely a thin deck. They're almost a little bit too thin for me, but they still handle pretty nice though. And this is a one-way backzone, so we've got a couple different like fan ability designs here. I can't really do reverse fans, but you get the idea of that. There will be slightly different style fans. Well, I'm going to say they handle fantastic. Definitely no issues with the handling. And it is a one-way back design. So the more I shuffle it up, the more that the back design will get all mixed up. There. Especially when you riffle it, it'll definitely get all mixed up. So it won't be like, it'll all be upside down. So when you fan it, it'll be slightly different. I guess most of them are, yeah, some of them are upside down, some of them are right side up. There. But overall, definitely an interesting deck there. A pretty nice back design though, even though it's a one-way back design. I'm not like a fan of every one-way back design out there. Like, I don't hate one-way back designs, but they're just not like my favorite thing. And you got the fully custom faces there. The red cards are still the red colorway, but you got the clubs and the spades here, which are that custom like seafoam kind of green colorway. There was the custom court cards. There was the custom colorway, and that Z kind of glyph there in the middle. And then all the court cards here with that little kind of like watermark kind of style over top there. And my favorite part of the deck, if I can find any one of them, we got the 4 fully custom court cards there, which are a little bit of like the back, have a little bit of like back design kind of incorporated into the aces, which is always fun. I love when they do 4 fully custom aces. It just adds a little bit more to the cards, you know. And once again, they handle fantastic. Just slightly on the more thinner side. There. But some people might like thinner cards. There. I like a slightly more stiffer deck, but they still handle fantastic. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. And this has been day 589 of your daily deck review. And this has been the Regenesis playing cards from Zalem. And I'm the Canadian Calculator, signing out. That's the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.